Hello from sunny Peterborough. Well, not quite Peterborough, near Peterborough. I need to get a train, but there's no driver. Well, that gives me an idea. So as you can see, I'm here at the fantastic Nene Valley Railway. There it is. To do an experience of driving a Class 43, well, an Intercity 125 as they should properly be known. Now there's two of them on here. There's one at the front, and there's another one you can see down that end. Now what we're going to be doing, we're going to drive it down to Peterborough, then we're going to drive it back again. So there's another chap here with me, so I will get a chance at driving this. We've got the grammar school Doncaster at that end, and oh look, there's Thomas the Tank Engine, he came too, and County of Leicestershire at the other. So that's the show for today. I have never obviously driven one of these before, this is entirely new. Will I be any good at it? Who knows? Right, let's have a chat about the British Rail Class 43, otherwise known as the Intercity 125. If you just picture it in the late 1960s, Britain's railways are looking a bit knackered and cars and planes are starting to pinch passengers. British Rail needed something fast, reliable and not too expensive. Electrification was out for much of the network, so what do? They come up with the high-speed train, a diesel-powered marvel with the Class 43 power car as its beating heart. Now, these Class 43s, originally designated as Class 253s, first rolled onto the tracks in 1976 on the Great Western Main Line. And let's not forget, they were branded the Intercity 125 because they could hit 125 miles an hour, which was properly quick back then. The noise of the Paxman Valenta engines was something else, a high-pitched scream that announced the future had arrived. And it wasn't just about speed, these trains were a full package, sleek, aerodynamic, and with Mark III coaches that offered a ride so smooth you could drink a cup of tea without spilling it even at full pelt. The Intercity 125 branding became iconic, as much a part of British culture as fish and chips or moaning about the weather. Now this is where it gets interesting. British Rail was also working on the Advanced Passenger Train, or APT, which was supposed to be the future of rail travel, tilting trains, faster speeds, the whole thing. But the APT was a bit too ambitious for the time, to be honest, and suffered from a few technical hiccups. Meanwhile, the HST just got on with it, doing its job brilliantly and making the APT look like a bit of a complicated mess. The HST was designed to be a stopgap, but ended up being the star of the show, outshining its flashy sibling and becoming the backbone of British intercity travel. By the mid-1990s, the Class 43 had got a bit of a makeover, swapping out those iconic Valenta engines for Paxman VP 185s and later MTU 4000s in the 2000s. These upgrades kept the HSTs running smoothly, even as the decades rolled on. And, let's be clear, these trains weren't just hanging round for nostalgia's sake, they were still doing the business, shifting people across the country faster than you could say leaves on the line. So there you have it, the Class 43 and the Intercity 125, a proper success story of British engineering. And with no further ado, it was time for us to set off on our first journey of the day, which was going to be a ride down the line to Peterborough. We'd then swap, go back halfway up the line, and then I would take over for the rest of the journey. So, for this initial part, I got the joy of riding along with absolutely no cares whatsoever, looking out of the window of an Intercity 125. Okay, here we go, it's my turn to take over driving it. Now we're going to turn off the engine in the one I'm driving first, and then crank up the one at the other end. As you can see, there's way still leads Neville Hill. So your number spotters 43045. So we're going to turn off the engine in here, but let's get into the cab. We're going to see 125. Ooh, here we go. Right, we're in the cab. There's the driver's chair. It's probably a good moment to try and explain to you the driving cab of the Class 43. Now, it's not a very complicated setup, everything is within arm's reach. We start here on the left with the most important lever in the entire thing, which is the brake controller. On the right, we have the power controller, the automatic warning system reset, the horn controller, and the engine on and off controller. Here we have our speedometer, an ammeter, the ammeter telling you how much power is coming from the engine behind you to drive the traction motors. And here we have a series of brake gauges showing you the amount of air you've got to do your braking from the whole train through to the locomotive itself. And barring a few of the bells and whistles, that's all you need to know. That being established, it was just for me to take the train back into Peterborough and try and stop it in the correct place.
Right the way up.
Right, so I've driven it with the engine off. Now I've got to drive with the engine on. There's the actual railway. It would be remiss of me while passing not to point out the remains of RTV31, which was a hovercraft tracked vehicle. There it is, not much of it left sadly. Sorry, I just want to pull it out. I'm currently walking down a station platform with the keys to an Intercity 125. There she is, County of Leicestershire. Just out of service with East Mids. 43060, another Neville Hill locomotive. And now I'm going to go out and drive it with the big engine going. And so, having had a chance to have a practice on the way back into Peterborough, it was now my turn to take this wonderful machine all the way back up the line to Wansford. I'd also put another camera in by this point so you can see what it looks like to look at me driving a train. So for the rest of this, I'll just leave you to it. Enjoy. Stupid question. Is there a reason the seats are so far back from the front of the travel of the controllers?
No, you can move the seats a little bit forward.
Yeah, I'm all the way. It's just
you're all the way, no.
If you're doing it all day.
Yeah, you don't have short arms.
No, I don't have short arms.
Yeah, no. As I say, you don't drive one of these if you've got short arms.
Yeah. There we go, that's what killed the dream. Sat here driving an Intercity 125 like it's a normal thing now, look at it. That's mad.
The brakes are very, very good on this. I mean, bear in mind that they have to be.
Yeah.
But having said that, if you needed to stop, if you was doing 125 mile an hour and you shoved it into emergency, it would take a mile and a quarter to stop. So, and then what we're going to do is get you to stop in the same place again by the number 2. So we'll leave it up to you.
Oh no! Well, you said about those wagons last time.
No.
Too early?
No, 2 miles too early.
No?
No.
That's the sign?
No.
Oh, it's that second two where they've got?
Yes.
Yeah. It's too early, you see.
I use the Parp.
Yeah, I reckon right here. Yeah?
Yeah.
Can you put it on and take it off? Is that allowed?
It's not a good idea to feather it. If you feel you can take it a bit off now, if you wanted to.
I do. I'm miles off. Oh,
Still rolling.
Oh. Surely I've got the back. I've got the back.
You got the back one.
Yeah, you're right.
So into notch 2. That's your holding brake.
Right.
So whatever you stop on, you move it into notch 2 as a hold. Notch 1.
Amps up.
Yeah, amps up. Now your brakes off. That's it. Sound the hold. Okay. Notch 3.
Yes, I'm tick, tick. Oh!
Okay, take your brake off, and then when you start to creep up, just ease back on the control line.
Is that alright? I don't just like 15.
That's okay. So we've got one of the traction motors isolated. You've only got one power bar running as well.
So
You'll notice the difference if you had two running.
I'll bet.
The only thing is that you've got to be so careful because you're doing this, and this,
Yeah.
and you're accelerating too fast. So to make it more of a, an experience of building up to speed gradually. Right. So if you go back to notch, say notch 2.
So hopefully my mum and dad are on the platform and my mum doesn't know I'm driving this.
Alright.
So she's going to get a surprise in a second when I lock the face off them.
Off. Take brake off. Should be okay in there. Should be in there. Right, on into notch 2.
Just try for training.
Right, destroy. Off.
That's off.
Yeah, that's off. Right, that back to 1 notch. Yeah,
Full service.
full service. Yeah. Okay. That's it. You're done.
Hey! Well done. Enjoyed your go. I've got to get a certificate. And I'd just like to say a huge thank you to everybody at the Nene Valley Railway and at 125 Preservation for letting me do this.